1. I work at a medical facility. Here are some stories of sexual things that have happened all to the same doctor. To start it off, we have over 20 providers that work here. And a lady called in and couldn't remember this particular provider's name, so she described him as the pretty doctor. Another patient has flashed this provider her coochie trying to get some drugs. Another patient was an older lady and would bring in her daughter, thinking that he would be interested in her and ask her on a date. She then found out he was married, spilled that she was hoping he would ask her daughter on a date, and then stopped bringing her. Another elderly patient, after her visit, asked him how to leave. He walked her to the front desk and she said thanks, gave him a hug, and kissed him on the neck. And to people who don't believe this doesn't happen at hospitals, doctors bring their RVs to the hospital and bone nurses between cases. At another clinic, a woman was fired and on her way out yelled how she had been sleeping with the doctor. Turns out two other women there were also sleeping with him. Another clinic has a shared phone for the doctor who is on call, while one physician was using it as his burner phone to hook up with the woman he was having an affair on. Awkward business when the other doctors get the phone on call and can see the texts. 2. I'm a male third year MD student that's been doing OB/GYN stuff for a few years now on the side. Phrasing, I know. This is more funny than weird, I guess. I was at a public health clinic giving teaching breast exams way out in the middle of nowhere with a club at my school. I had this older lady on the table who was the sweetest thing on the planet, said she was something like 80 years old, several kids, husband had passed, and just wanted to make sure she was healthy. I asked if she'd ever given herself an exam before and she said no. So, as with everybody, I said, all right, well, let's teach you how to do it, and then you don't have to worry about coming back here in the future. She kindly says, wonderful. And I start going through the steps and eventually get to palpating the actual breast. Okay, so you're gonna start up here and use the pads of your fingers. Don't lift them up. Just slide and push in circles, getting closer to the nipple like this. See? Once you get to the nipple, I want you to squeeze it like this and look for any. She lets out an enormous moan and shudders. Oh God, I haven't been touched like this in 30 years. My face goes white. Do you give pelvic exams too, young sir? I stuck my head out the door and called for a consult before moving on to the next breast. A good few years ago, I was seeing this girl for some time, then found out she cheated on me. Shortly after the breakup, I had some issues with my little friend, and it seemed she left me with more than bad memories. This was horrifying, since I was not the most confident person at the best of times, and I knew an unavoidable trip to the STD clinic was required. I plucked up the courage and made an appointment. After waiting nervously in the clinic waiting area, I heard my name called. I entered an abnormally large room to be presented with a slightly older and very attractive female doctor. I came so close to turning round and getting the fuck out of there, but I knew I had no option. She directed me onto the bed and told me to remove my trousers and underwear while she excused herself and left the room for a moment. My cock and balls are of average proportions, but the combination of it being midwinter and fucking cold in that room, plus my nervous state, meant that my dick resembled something like a button mushroom. I knew this wouldn't do, so I figured playing with it about a bit might help. Not masturbating, just slapping it about a bit to get the blood flowing. While continuing this fruitless exercise, getting more frustrated, cursing, and quickly developing a cold sweat of fear and nervousness over the whole state of affairs, I failed to hear the door open. I did fucking hear the stifled laughter, though. I opened my eyes and saw the attractive doctor flanked by what I can only assume were some sort of foreign medical exchange students. The doctor asked if it was okay if they sat it and observed. In my mind, I was thinking how it was a bit fucking late for asking and wanting to outwardly express my anger, but being British, I politely said, yeah, no problem. The rest of the time, I was forced to ignore the bursts of laughter disguised in coughs while watching the doctor struggling to take a swab from the eye of my shriveled dick. Every fibre in my body wanted to scream I wasn't wanking, but instead I sat there a humiliated, sweaty and broken man with a beetroot red face. So if you were that doctor or one of the, I think, Australian medical students working in the Flory Clinic in Reading, UK, sometime in the mid-2000s, I just want to say I wasn't fucking wanking.